We are not where we're meant to be. This is a sand spit, but we were meant to be camping last night in a tent, but New Zealand had an atmospheric river, and it rained for a really, really long time. And so I'm glad we made the decision to stay in a cabin. The bed was pretty awful, and so this mud sort of encapsulates my feelings right now. But so I'm gonna have a coffee, and then we're gonna pack up the car, and then we're gonna go set up our tent yonder there, and over in the national park, and have one night of camping, one night of tent tucker. And I've already been to the supermarket and got everything planned. Let's just hope it all actually goes to plan. It never does. It never does. I just need to cede control at some point, I think. I think that's the lesson I'm learning.
And immediately control went right out the window. I was sitting at my disco bed and I got a call. A fateful call.
So I forgot my tripod at the last campground. Woohoo. That's a half-hour drive. Gone. One thing I'm starting to learn in life is that time is precious, but it's also incredibly easily expendable. You can spend time far easier and far more quickly, weirdly, than anything. In my younger years, there were certain things that tied me down, certain dogmas. And at that moment, I decided tripods were one of those things. I've turned around, by the way, because I've got this clamp. I bought this clamp system so I can, like, you know, film in a creative way from like high angles and clamp it into a tree, because my Joby tripod, I left it in a tree, but it's also a piece of shit because they just keep on, they get all droopy really fast. And I just had this epiphany that, like, I don't need the tripod, you know. I've got the clamp. If I can't figure out how to film the food I'm about to cook, then what kind of like, you know, creative person am I?
So with the disco bed set up and my priorities having shifted somewhat in my mind, it was time to actually just get out, forget about any sort of cooking, and just enjoy everything that Tawharanui has to offer.
It was like the last 2 days just never happened. All of that rain, all that misery. No, it wasn't miserable, but far out. Was it intense? It really was like, you know what? You've had a pretty good summer. Rah, here's a bunch of winter. It is absolutely heaving. It's about as busy as I have ever seen a New Zealand beach. What a zoo.
Life has changed a lot since having kids. It's kids first now, but as they get older, their observation skills have started converging on ours, and it's nice.
So beautiful here. I've been actually over there. That's where we went to the beach last time. But this part is like significantly more busy. But I can see why people like to come here. This is spectacular. It's like a postcard for New Zealand, this place.
They start to notice things that we as parents notice, which is cool, but they also notice things we don't. And yes, the pace slows down, but in a way, having kids is like turning the saturation up on life. The good stuff and the bad stuff too, but mostly the good.
So you are up a tree because I don't have a tripod, but I've got an excellent clamp. Here's my razor griddle, product placement. And today we're going to be making quesadillas, or an approximation of them, inspired by quesadillas. I am not deluding myself. I know in no world, in no Mexico that exists in multi-dimensions is a quesadilla going to be like this, but it's the best description of it. So we've got not one, but 2 chicken breasts.
I'm not going to teach you how to suck eggs. This is a quesadilla after all. It's pretty simple. I will, however, make a few comments about why I chose the quesadilla style as a vehicle for food. You see, at the time of filming, chicken breast was the cheapest meat available in New Zealand supermarkets at around $16 a kilo. International viewers and visitors New Zealand, make no mistake, New Zealand is expensive. And although they'll deny it, a lot of the blame can be laid at the feet of our supermarket duopoly. They give the illusion of choice with differently branded supermarkets, but they're pretty much all operated by two big companies. So you've got to get creative, because they're certainly creative with how they price things. So here I've made a salsa with pineapple, which is pretty cheap, but pretty boring. And then I made one with feijoa, which is in season and a little bit different. But usually I would head to my local Chinese grocer to get a deal. But in unfamiliar places, that isn't always an option. So against my better judgment, if you're visiting Aotearoa New Zealand, or you're from New Zealand, where possible, try not to shop at the supermarkets. Is this a call to action for a boycott? I think it is.
So, there it is there. The question is there ever a situation where Mexican isn't the right choice? Highly unlikely. Well, when the quesadilla itself was really nice. Let's try a bit with the feijoa. You know what? It works. It's sort of like echoes of the coriander. It's quite like a fragrant fruit to eat, the old feijoa. So, I think that works.
Grabis, waardoor ik grip Edians. Eat.
Oh, this just seems dangerous.
I think I've learned some lessons. Shelf space, can't go past it. You know, if I could bring a whole kitchen to there, there's a right old party going on over there, holy shit. But if I was able to bring a whole kitchen here, I would, but I can't. So I have to make do with what I've got. I'm very thankful that my razor griddle's got some shelf space and it fits in the back of my car to boot. So that's all good. But also like going over sort of the things that you can cook while you're camping. And I think you've got to go for stuff that's not overly complicated, but you can make things taste more complicated than they are. Like, for example, a quesadilla. You go hard with some herbs and some spices, and then suddenly you've got pretty immense flavor going on, and you're by the beach with just one cooking appliance. So I take some star photos. So these lights have to be turned off, and let's crank out some good ones.
It's always carnage after the sleep. But you know what? It's time for coffee. So the kids have dragged us off for a short morning walk to see the sunrise, and they just sort of saunter off into the sunrise like they're like some sort of cowboys. My bros, you're still wearing your pajamas, and one of you has got ears on your jumper, like bear ears. So don't act so tough.